What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Jake, and today we are going to talk about The Witcher Season 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join the conversation. We do some cool stuff around here. Now, a big thing that we are all thinking about is how in God's green earth is Liam Hemsworth going to follow up Henry Cavill as The Witcher? And I will tell you this much, guys. After watching the entire season, he did all right. It was okay. And that's exactly how I feel about it. Now, you have big shoes to fill when you're following up Henry Cavill in a role that he absolutely knocked out of the park. Anybody who was there for season 1 would remember, just like a masterpiece of storytelling. They really did great by the books. It was lore accurate. It was well executed. It was just so insanely good, right? And then after that, after starting at such a high, just took a sharp downturn into oblivion, right? So I understand why people would be hesitant about watching the newest season, especially since the best part of the show wasn't even a part of it. Now, I did take some notes on the season as we were going through, and I did notice that the very first thing that they do in The Witcher Season 4 is they go back to Episode 1 and reshoot the Kikimora fight that we never saw. So, if you remember, Season 1 opening, Geralt of Rivia sees like a baby deer or some shit, and it's hurt, kills it, and eats it. Then the Kikimora attacks him, and you just see him diving at the thing with his sword, and you never see the fight. You just immediately go to Blaviken, where now he's doing this whole arc. The girl, whatever her name was, who cares? What I'm getting at, though, is they go back and reshoot that Kikimora fight, but instead of Henry Cavill playing it, they put Liam Hemsworth to tie him in, to be like, okay, guys, it's been Liam Hemsworth the whole time. Look, here's Episode 1, Season 1, and there's Liam Hemsworth. He's been here the whole time. So that was a little jarring to just immediately throw him into Henry Cavill's role in such a shoehorned way. Hemsworth, his choreography, the way that he executes his combat, his sword skills and the sword play in the show is not graceful. He is like a bull in a china shop. He is clunky and moves a little bit robotically. It's kind of the curse of being huge like that. Henry Cavill is jacked, absolutely jacked. But I don't know if he does yoga or if he's just not as big as Liam Hemsworth. But Henry Cavill definitely moves a lot better. According to the lore of a Witcher, who's supposed to be like nimble and like a ballerina with a sword, basically. But either way, I think Liam Hemsworth did fine. He did an okay job. If he had done it the entire 4 seasons of the show, if he was the Witcher in the previous seasons, I don't think the show would have been a cultural phenomenon like it was. A lot of that was definitely resting on Henry Cavill's shoulders. But Liam Hemsworth did a good job, right? The rest of the show, don't even get me started on the rest of the show. The rest of the show is a nightmare. But the entire Witcher arc is kind of fun to watch. There's a couple parts where he just genuinely doesn't make any sense. Here, let's go down my list of things. Yennefer of Vengerberg is consistently in this like girl power fighting the patriarchy that is the Brotherhood turned Vilgefortz storyline, and now they're going to build up their own army and train all these witches like as if they're witchers, and it's just ridiculous, absolutely nonsensical, unbearable to watch. Anytime Yennefer of Vengerberg is on screen, I know I have time to go take a leak, right? I know this is going to be a segment of the show that I am not going to like. It's not going to make sense. And everyone in this arc consistently makes bad decisions. Like, even in combat scenes, right? We see witches, magic users, instead preferring to use physical strength to overcome a problem, right? I don't know if you know anything about magic users, but generally not the strongest role that you could do. Go into Dark Souls and build up your magic character and then use a big sword, right? It's not going to work. It's not what these guys do. So there are many scenarios throughout the entire show where magic users lean on either A, hand-to-hand combat ability, or B, physical strength, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It does that thing that a lot of TV shows love to do that is my least favorite thing, which is where a small woman just beats the ever-living dog crap out of a giant man. If you don't know, my background is in martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and mixed martial arts, right? And I will tell you what, I have had my ass kicked by some tough women in the past. But 99 out of 100, I'm not getting my ass beat. It takes a very specific type of woman to beat up a man. And I don't think that... well, Freya Allan, her character is like that super powerful... even though she's 90 pounds, she's also like a superhero, basically, with magical powers. And she was trained by the Witchers. But definitely not the other magic users in this arc. Speaking of Freya Allan, or Cirilla, right? Her arc is definitely interesting. I'll tell you, it's interesting to watch. She joins with this gang called the Rats, and they go around basically just being, criminals and stealing and doing all this stuff. They all have cocaine problems for some reason. I don't understand why there was so much cocaine. I don't remember cocaine being a thing in the games nor the books. And I haven't read all the books, right? But I'm pretty sure coke problems weren't in there. However, one thing that I had to research and did look up was if Cirilla has a lesbian relationship with Missile, right? And that actually is canon. That does happen in the books. They kind of, put it right up in Front Street for you to see that, Cirilla is gay, and she has a coke problem now, and she's a thief, and this, that, and the other. But definitely, I feel like that's going to be one thing that people latch onto, where they're like, this is PC. How dare they shoehorn in a lesbian love scene? And it's like, no, well, it is in the books. It is canon. In the books, though, it is not shoved in your face so blatantly. It's more subtle, but it is there. Not like the Jaskier and his, love relationship with the king. That was a little bit out of nowhere. Speaking on the Rats, right? I will say this, not just about the Rats, but as all of the characters who are not like core characters. I cannot remember a single person's name. They're just loaded with unmemorable characters. The only one who really is a memorable character that isn't part of the big three, being Yennefer, Ciri, and Geralt of Rivia, right, would be Lawrence Fishburne as Regis, right? Where Lawrence Fishburne comes in, he just gives an outstanding performance. He crushes it in everything he does. This is definitely one of the highlights of the season, is any scene with Lawrence Fishburne in it, with Regis in it. Regis, but no Kelly. Oh. Yeah, no, it was great. I did enjoy Regis's character a whole lot, and that goes back to kind of that entire story arc. Anything that has to do with The Witcher, with Liam Hemsworth, who did okay, right, is interesting, and it's fun to watch, and it's kind of at the core of the show. That is probably about less than a third of the show. There are 3 story arcs, so that makes sense, but it feels like the show really isn't focusing on The Witcher as much as it is on Yennefer of Vengerberg and her god-awful story arc, and Cirilla and the Rats, which is definitely, it's fine, I guess. Season 4 Geralt, the entire time, though, definitely does feel a little bit like hollow. Like there's not a lot of depth to his character anymore. I don't know if that's how they wrote it, for him to be like a shell of his former self, kind of like season 1 of this show being awesome and season 4 being a hollow husk of what it used to be. It doesn't feel like the character we fell in love with. I think he's doing his best. He does fine, you know, but it's not the Geralt that we came here to see. Just a heads up, from this point forward, I will be dropping spoiler after spoiler. If that's something that you don't want to see, then I will tell you this. The Geralt story arc, the Geralt arc, is good. It's fine. That's it, right? The Ciri arc is mid. The Yennefer story arc is absolutely garbage. Totally lame. Could not connect to it. Everything about it, like, I feel like there are scenes that are supposed to hit you hard, and they just completely don't. And then they followed up with something silly that takes it all away. Yeah, the Yennefer arc is trash. So just fast forward anytime she's on the screen. Which, now we're going into our spoilers. So, the Jaskier song in episode 5, I think, absolutely could have done without. The entire episode was just everyone, like, going back and telling us their backstories and where they came from and why they're so sad. And I'll tell you what, kind of felt like a filler episode. It was a filler episode. I think they ran out of ideas, and they just did everyone's backstory. And you know what? It was... I could have done without it. I guess it didn't really matter. None of these characters really hit me hard. The only one that did hit me hard was Regis's backstory. Regis's backstory is definitely super cool, learning about the origins of his character. However, they kind of do something different where they completely change the tone of the show and go into an anime arc. And it's sick. They did a really good job with that. Regis's backstory is the only one I would have... If that was the only backstory they had given me, I would have been fine with that. And then we got the elf dryad lady, her backstory. We finally got the Black Knight backstory, the Nilfgaardian Black Knight who hunts Ciri in season 1. I guess that's okay too, but again, Regis is the only one I really cared about. The Vesemir death scene absolutely did not hit at all. They were trying to make it like this big emotional moment, and I feel like the show shows you that it's emotional for everyone in the story, but doesn't make me feel emotional. And Vesemir is a beloved character, and yeah, just the execution of his death scene was absolutely a miss, as well as the death of all of the rats. All of the rats are killed in the finale episode, and it doesn't really land. It doesn't land at all, actually. I don't even think that we get to see Ciri fight with Leo, the bounty hunter. I don't remember. Like I said, a lot of this is just not memorable. It's not a memorable, TV show except for the scenes with Geralt of Rivia in it, and that's kind of a bummer. I don't understand why magic users keep not using magic and instead try to brute force it. Where there's even like that one scene where this girl is trying to like open a well, and she's like a mage, and instead of trying to use magic to open the well, which she's a master of, she uses her fucking biceps or her muscles and can't do it. It's like, use the magic. Why aren't you using your magic? And when she opens this well, it releases the water onto this battle that's happening. Something's going on. It's like the big battle of the entire season, right? And Vilgefortz is using fire magic against all of the remaining witches of their witch army, which just, God, don't even get me started on the witch army. Don't need to worry about it. Doesn't matter, right? But Vilgefortz is using fire magic. Then he gets hit with water, and all of a sudden, like the Wicked Witch of the West starts fucking melting, and does like he's like, oh no, I'm dying now because I'm wet. And it's like, this is the most powerful mage in this universe apparently at this time, and a little bit of water ruined him. It's just ridiculous. Who else died? Yeah, when Istrid dies, his death scene also does not hit. And then you see Yennefer run up to him, and she's crying again. I don't feel emotional at all. And then she just starts like naming off random shit. She's just like, "Oh, warm bread, jellyfish, bubble jellyfish," and you're just like, "That's hysterical. That's actually really funny." Because now I'm not thinking about Eastrid's death scene. I'm thinking about warm bread and jellyfish. So, actually, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about SpongeBob putting jellyfish jelly on his toast, and then that made me hungry for toast. I'm not thinking about Eastrid anymore. Yeah, no, all I'm thinking about is jelly on toast. Eastrid was boiled down to jelly on toast. All right, well, we're doing it. Like I said, the only joy in this show are the Geralt scenes. That's, holds pretty true. And then the entire motivation for our bad guys, right? Let's look at our bad guys. We have Emir, the ruler of Nilfgaard, right? Who's actually Dooney, who's actually Urcheon from season 1, who's the fucking spiky dude in the suit of armor, right? So he's Emir. He's trying to get Ciri, who he was given a fake Ciri by Vilgefortz. Now, this is where it gets weird. Super, super weird. Emir needs Ciri so he could impregnate her, his daughter, right? What in the Alabama is going on in Nilfgaard? I swear this is some backwater, crazy ass shit. So he wants to get his daughter knocked up, right? To fulfill a prophecy, right? Then, on top of that, Vilgefortz also wants Ciri so that way he could tie her tubes. His entire motivation is to tie her tubes, and for some reason, that's the end of the world. That's his super grand evil plan, is to get a hold of Ciri and tie her tubes and like take away her ability to have children, right? And Yennefer's in her way, so he needs to kill her army. If I was him, I just wouldn't have bothered with Yennefer's army at all. They're not a threat. They don't matter. So after we get through our army battle, our witch army battle, or the witchers of fucking whatever castle that they're in, they get portal travel back because that's been gone all season for some reason. Can't tell you why. Yennefer goes and just finds Geralt. Just easy as pie, boom, snap of a finger, I'm here next to you on your way to Nilfgaard, right? And for some reason doesn't tell Geralt that the Cirilla that they have in Nilfgaard is the fake Cirilla, and allows him to keep going on a pointless journey to go to Nilfgaard to save Cirilla when she knows that Cirilla is not in Nilfgaard. The writers made a idiot move. They're talking to each other. They spend the night together and have a weird sex scene, and Yennefer doesn't tell Geralt that the entire point of the entire season, his entire mission to get to Nilfgaard and rescue Ciri, has been pointless because she's not even there. Why didn't you tell him that? The one scene that did actually get me to kind of like smile and chuckle a little bit was when Geralt gets knighted by the Queen of Rivia. So if we go back, Geralt kind of just picked Rivia as a name because he was like, I don't know, I have to be from somewhere, and it sounds better than my real name, which is fucking Geralt von Waffle Ass, right? And so he chose Rivia. Now he saves the Queen of Rivia and gets knighted as a Knight of Rivia, which they've been saying the entire season. Oh, Geralt has always wanted to be a knight. He never wanted to be a witcher. He always wanted to be a knight. Now he is a knight, and the queen swears him to her service, and he's just like, fuck. And yeah, that part was actually kind of funny. It felt like one story actually got closed, and we accomplished something in this entire season of The Witcher, season 4. So all in all, it's kind of a mess. But I'll tell you what, if you are a diehard fan of the story The Witcher and you played the games and you read the books and this is your jam, you're not going to like this even a little bit. If you are, kind of a fan of the show and just like where it was going, you might be into this a little bit. No, you won't. You won't be into it at all. This sucks. It really sucked. And you know what? Here, I'll be honest. I went into this thinking it was going to suck, and it was better than I expected it to be, but it still super, super sucked. If 2/3 of the show were boring and borderline unwatchable, but that 1/3 was like knocked it out of the park, maybe I would give it like a 5 out of 10, but it really wasn't even that good. This season is just not great. If you want to go hate watch it, you could probably get through it. It's not going to be an enjoyable journey, but it is a journey, and one you could take just to say you did it. So that's my thoughts on The Witcher Season 4. If you guys have watched it, if you have some opinions on it, please share with me in the comment section. I would love to have a conversation about this. Definitely it's fine, but it's not great. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.